Hi, this is Isabelle Itzler, the place to be to develop your skills and grow your potential. So I've been away a little bit during this summer. I've changed homes. As you can see, I'm in a different setting now. So I want to go back to providing a lot of content for you in terms of networking, careers, and entrepreneurship. This content I know is very valuable for you, especially to position yourself in this time of change. So that's what I wanted to talk about in an introduction of this video is the time of change that we're going through, because we went through COVID, and after COVID things were back to normal almost. People started going back to work, and there was a huge surge in jobs, and companies were hiring again, and that's what we saw in the first quarter of job trends basically. And now I think towards the end of the year, things are slowing down a little bit. So again, feel free to read below. I've posted the article. So that's really the introduction. Is we're going through some more changes right now, uncertainty. And in a time of uncertainties, company will go back to maybe standing still or not maybe hiring as much as they wanted, because they're waiting for things to settle a little bit more. So we have some very challenging things happening right now. This is not just about COVID anymore. We're talking about war, and there's some energy crisis. So, what do you do in terms of positioning yourself? I think in terms of crisis, there's always three things that are necessary in my view. It's food, shelter, and health. So if you're thinking now about sustaining yourself and being in a position where you can, maybe have a job or have make a living, I think those three fields will always be there for you. And this is just a general comment wherever you are in the world right now. Before I get started on Swiss trends, I think wherever you are in the world right now, if you're thinking, how do I deal with this crisis? How do I sustain myself? I think working around those three areas, there's always going to be a need for you. So if you're skilled in any of the three, or if you are thinking about what kind of skills do I want to gain or training, I think if you're around those three sectors, you can do well. If you're starting out your career, or if you want to go into something that is not disappearing from one day to the next, or where there's always going to be an ongoing demand, which is always a challenge when you're choosing a career, because at some point your field might be in demand, then it's less, etc. It's hard to predict, especially with worldwide events. Now, if you're a nurse or if you're a doctor, there's not going to be that question, is not even part of the equation. Or if you're someone who supplies food or gas, as we see, you're always going to be someone that's in demand. So that's good to know. It's an introduction. It's good to know where you're always going to be someone that people need and want. Now, going into the topic, which is Swiss trends. So for this late part of the year, as you can see in the article, things are stagnant a little bit. So there were was a lot of hiring going on, where my clients were getting 1, 2, 3 job offers at the same time. Now we have to be a little bit more conservative. There's some areas that I know, because I get the contacts, some areas like trading, where there's some difficulty, of course, linked to what's happening in the world. So you have to keep in mind that maybe if you're not hearing back from your application, it's not just about you, it's about the general situation now. So with this article, and I think it's great because there's some areas definitely that are in need right now, like mechanics, like engineers. I think if you focus on the sustainable, economy, or the diversity, eco-diversity economy, sustainable economy, whatever you want to call it, there's definitely a big need right now to develop those alternative type of energies, where there's going to be less reliance on the traditional ones. So any startup or any company that's thinking about solutions around there is going to be quite growing right now. So, and you can see in the Swiss trends that anything linked to recycling, etc., there's a huge need right now to hire people, to hire talent, so that they can, now they realize, companies are realizing, we've been taking things maybe little by little, and there was not a big push to create something new or to develop more sustainable solutions. We were reliant on this international type of trading, but I think now people realize we need to be more local. And this happened during COVID. We experienced that during COVID with things from China that weren't coming through the cargoes. And now we're experiencing it with energy. So definitely any company that's solving this solution of finding a solution for doing things more local, providing things more local, they're going to be hiring at the moment. And if you're someone who can easily shift maybe to work more locally, you're going to be in demand. Now, the big challenge for my audience is language. So if you're an expat from another country and you don't speak French fluently or Swiss German or Italian, the local market is going to be complicated for you to enter. So maybe at the moment your only focus, if you want to work in Switzerland, should be on being fluent in one of the three languages, as I mentioned, French, German, or Italian. And then you can probably learn the skills to basically shift towards a local type of work. So if you're an international person and maybe you've worked in finance or banking or insurance, the sectors that are a little bit less active at the moment, maybe what you can think about now is learn the language and do a career change in something that's more local would be my advice. So if right now you're wondering, what should I do with my career? What should I change? What kind of change should I do? Think about something you can do locally, where you can sustain yourself locally that doesn't require a lot of travel and movement. And there's a lot of online jobs as well that could be an opportunity area for you, where you can work from home and do everything online. There's a huge surge in that as well in the last years, I think, but especially during and after COVID. So think about basically positions or jobs that you can either do locally, but that requires speaking the local language wherever you are. And that's actually more, again, the technicians, people who can, maybe the blue collar type of work right now is more in demand. Or you can work online. So you take your traditional, I would say, corporate career, and you turn that into an online job or a freelancer type of work. And that's really, I've done a lot of videos on that about ideas, and I'm willing to do more ideas of what you could be starting online to sustain yourself based on what you know already. So such as creating a course, or delivering your services in a different way, or your knowledge a different way. So everything that you did in corporate can pretty much be done online. Now the challenge is to find clients and to market your service or your offer. But I think that's also a possibility for a lot of expats, is to localize their career or to start a freelance or an online type of job. And I will again be informing people more about opportunity areas. And I'm thinking about doing a video where I tell people about opportunity areas and areas to avoid online, because they're not, in my view, there's a false good opportunity, meaning that you're probably going to be putting yourself in a difficult situation. And again, I'm not mentioning this right now, but there's, for me, better and good and bad ideas of online businesses. So this is really my conclusion for this video, is go towards things that you can do locally. So localize your type of skill set, whether it's in Switzerland or actually elsewhere. And also look into the online world, because that doesn't require any kind of movement. And it's something you can do from your home, that you can do from having a computer connection. And it can solve actually a lot of the issues that we're faced with right now. No transportation needed, less movement of goods, and still delivering value to a lot of people, and finding your spot in a challenging environment. So I hope this was helpful. Feel free to read the articles below. Let me know what you think about these trends. Do you agree with them? Do you find them, does it help you to find your space? Also, feel free to contact me and request a video specifically on your pain point. What are you dealing with right now? You ask me all of the questions, and what I do is package a video that I share with the YouTube community, C-suiters. And so you're basically encouraging the community by doing this. And at the same time, you get the answers to your burning questions by a professional. So I hope this was helpful. As usual, feel free to comment below, and I will talk to you soon.